Edson Barboza fought Giga Chikadze. I would like to say is the way you pronounce his last name. I'm honestly not sure. Correct me if you want. That being said, I was watching the fight. Edson Barboza, for a guy who's known as being like a fast striker, Giga, he looked like he was just as fast as Edson at some points in the time. Not only that, but he was also, a little bit more, connecting a little bit more with the kicks, like I thought it was interesting. His hands looked good. He actually got him out of there with punches and, definitely was mixing it up with the strikes. But the first round, I thought Edson won. The last two rounds, obviously, with the third being the finish, I thought Giga won. I thought the more the fight went on, I thought he looked better than Edson. And I was kind of surprised because Edson looked pretty good in his featherweight fight the last time we saw him. And he knocked out, I would like to say, Shane Burgos is who he fought, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So, like with him losing this fight, I don't think he should necessarily be done fighting. But, I mean, definitely a notch down on the board as far as him moving to another weight class. And, it's unfortunate, but that's just the fight game.
I am familiar with, like, Giga. I'm not even gonna mess up his last name because I know he has a history of body kicks that can put you down, I believe. So yeah, I don't want to end up in those crossfires, but I will say this: congrats to him. I believe he did call out Max Holloway.
Without looking at the rankings right now, I think that it's interesting because you got a lot of good strikers in the featherweight division. I'm not sure if you guys, know as far as anybody else in the top 10 that y'all want him to fight, but Loud, do you have any matchups that you think are good for him?
So I think Giga or Jigga, I think it's Giga, not Jigga.
So it's not Jigga.
Shout out to Jigga.
I can tell you for sure it's not Jigga.
Shout outs to Hove, man.
Yeah. But I think Giga is, I'll put it like this. Damn good win. It's a win that he needed absolutely to move up in the ranks. Now, I know he's calling out Max Holloway and saying, like, I deserve to be a top 5. No, scratch that top 3, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. You beat Edson, which is fantastic. You need to beat a top 5 opponent.
Right.
Max Holloway could be the next fight because, Max Holloway needs a win before he challenges for the title again. But if you don't get Max Holloway, you can't complain, dude. There's other fights in the top 5 that you need to get. I mean, you need to aim for as well. I think that he's in the right direction, in the right trajectory to get that title shot, but he's definitely not next in line for a title shot like he claims.
It's funny because there's another fighter who fought last night, Kevin Lee. He fought in welterweight. And before the fight even happened, without having many, if any, fights at welterweight, he said he was top 5 welterweights. He then went to go on and lose last night to somebody who was unranked.
These guys got to stop this, man. When you go into a so he went up a weight class, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. When you're going up a weight class, you can't. I don't care what you've done before. Like there has to be some type of humbleness. Where like you have to believe in yourself, but you can't start the last thing you should ever do is probably the most embarrassing thing to do is calling your fight before it happens. Especially when you're talking about like when you're looking at who you want to fight next or this is where I'm supposed to be and I'm trying to prove it. Now don't get me wrong, if you can back it up, people will love you for it. And a lot of pandemonium surfaced around people like Conor McGregor when he was calling his fights and he was delivering, but you can't just say that going up a weight class and you don't know what to expect. Your body hasn't prepared itself for this in real combat.
You can't say that coming off losses too.
Yeah, you can't say that and beat Kevin Lee at this point. Yeah, you can't.
That's another thing.
When him saying he's going to be top 5 and Kamaru Usman's going to be getting a phone call about him next, like win your fight first. Win a couple fight. This is his second time he lost at welterweight. He got choked out by RDA a few fights ago.
That was at welterweight?
That was at welterweight.
Really?
Yes.
Jeez.
And then he went ahead and got beat by this unranked guy named
Daniel
Rodriguez. And shouts out to Daniel Rodriguez. Coming here, and this makes the situation for Kevin Lee a lot worse. Daniel Rodriguez came in on 2 weeks' notice.
Hold on.
And beat Kevin Lee.
Man. Like
unranked.
Unranked.
Right.
And the thing is, I like Daniel Rodriguez. I've watched a few of his fight. Dude can fight. You know what I mean? Like, he's not in there to play around. You know, his striking is pretty decent. I think he might have stunned Kevin Lee a couple times, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And I was just like, you know, watching the fight, and I was like, you know, Kevin Lee really got to go and retool his game. He just has to. I don't really know what else to say. Kevin Lee, for whatever reason, over the past few years, has taken on this persona, I guess, with the UFC, and he's talking a lot of shit about a lot of people. Da 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 da. Cool. Do what you think if you think it's going to bring more eyes to you. The thing is that when you talk the amount of shit that he's talking, you gotta win, and that's the only thing he's not doing. You gotta win, yo. Like, you have to. You just have to. As simple as that.
Exactly. Like, I mean, we can go as far as looking at, like, even like the card for like 268, right? That they announced recently, like for like Kobe Covington. He talks a lot, but he's nice. He's a good fighter.
There you go.
Like, you have to. And granted, he didn't win against Usman in their first fight, but at the end of the day, we all said it was a sentiment shared by all of us. He talks a lot. He runs as a heel. You may not like him, but he's a damn good fighter. He knows how to win. He knows how to put himself in position for contention for a championship, right? The talking adds to it, but we all said if you take the talking away, he's an actual good fighter. Masvidal, hey, he knows how to talk, and he's a pretty good fighter. He knows he was able to do enough he was able to talk enough and fight good enough to get himself into a championship. Maybe not as good as Kobe. That's up to anybody's opinion based on what they feel, right?
Correct.
But Kevin Lee has to take notes from guys like Kobe Covington at that point where it's like, hey, talk all you want. You can take from the counter card if you want to. But if you're going to play that deck, you got to win. You have to win.
He has to win. He got to win. And he has not been winning. No. Choked out by RDA, choked out by Charles Oliveira. Now he's getting beat by unranked guys that's coming in on short notice. Like Daniel Rodriguez, he's probably at home with his family, relaxing, and he got the phone call. Hey man, you want to fight Kevin Lee? And he's like, hell yeah, I'm trying to get ranked.
Let me put this
Christmas is coming up.
Yeah. Let me put this beer down. Let me put this beer down and stop eating this turkey. All right.
He's like, look, you know my kids just went back to school. I just spent some money. Let me go and beat up Kevin Lee real quick. Jeez. No, but shouts out to Kevin Lee, though. That's the fucked up part about it. You know what I mean? Like, I like Kevin Lee, and I think that his skill set is good enough to beat certain people. But I think it seems like in the last few years, like, he's just fallen off. Like, he needs to go back to the drawing board and really figure it out.
He might need to be with a new gym completely.
Possibly, like, something. Because I think he has a decent striking, wrestling combination, but something just isn't clicking. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I think maybe he should go down to lightweight unless that cut's just getting too tough for him. But something's got to change, yo, because he can't keep on doing this shit.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, it probably is what Lau said. It's probably just, at that point, you probably just need to go to a new gym. Like, it's probably a bittersweet thing, but it is what it is. Like, if you're doing, because there was a moment where Kevin Lee was like, oh, the talk of the town in the sense of like, oh, there's this new kid. He looks like he might have some promise. We got to see what happens with him. And he just didn't deliver. In the long term, he didn't deliver. The expectations that some people had, especially him, I'll just put it that way, especially for him, right? I think there was an expectation for certain fans when it came to him, right? And winning is at the root of all of it at the end of the day. So if you feel like you're doing everything correct and it's not working, go to another gym, like you said. Like, it's probably the best option. It doesn't hurt. I'll say that much. At this point, it doesn't hurt. And who knows if he does what he needs to? Who knows? Maybe he goes back down, and maybe Alec Quinta gets hurt or Bobby Green gets hurt, and he can find himself on the 268 card.
Yeah. You know,